this clip right now, there are young girls, there are young boys, there are children, even as young as infants, being trafficked for the purposes of labor and for the purposes of sex trade. And that is true. All over the world, there's probably not a nation that is exempt from this dilemma. Because of the emergence of internet pornography, sexual addiction, it has caused the trafficking of children, of teens, of girls and boys to run rampant. There are pornography film producers right now in different nations abducting children or purchasing children, young girls, young boys, bringing them into hotel rooms and producing porno films, sometimes for 2, 3, 4 days at a time. When they're finished with those children, oftentimes the children are killed or they're sold back into brothels or other aspects of the sex trade. Then they take those films, they put them up on the internet, and they make millions off of them. The sex trade aspect of it, especially as far as pornographic films, is a multi-billion-dollar industry worldwide. And so what are we going to do about it? I was overwhelmed at one point when the Lord had led me to Bangkok, Thailand, and into Pattaya, Thailand. And I was just overwhelmed by what I saw. There was young girls everywhere being bought by men who were like in their mid-50s, late 50s, most of all Western men. And I just didn't know what to do. And then I found out that there was children being involved. Whole children's brothels where pedophiles would come in from all over the world to rape children day and night and pay a fee for it. And I just said, God, this is such a big issue. And he said, yes. And what are you going to do about it? You see, many people say, oh, if God is so loving, why does he allow this? Why does he allow that? But the scripture says the heavens belong to the Lord, but the earth belongs to the sons of men. Right in Genesis chapter 1, verses 27 and 28, God said that he created mankind in his own image. And in his image and likeness, he created us to rule and to reign and subdue, to have dominion in the earth. So the earth was put into man's dominion. We fell, but Jesus came and redeemed us. So in Matthew 16, we see that we've been given now the keys of the kingdom. Whatever we do in the earth will be backed up in heaven. In Matthew 28, verse 18, Jesus said, all authority in heaven and earth has been given unto me. So go into the nations and disciple them. It's time for the church to arise and do something about this issue of sex tourism, sex trade, the trafficking of children, the trafficking of souls. I believe that in our lifetime we can completely annihilate modern day slavery if we will trust God and if we will do it together. When the Lord showed me that I had a responsibility, I didn't know where to start. So I just started with one little thing and God breathed on it. I just did one little event and we were able to reach a few people. And then through that, we were encouraged. So we hosted another event and we bought prostitutes out of the brothels and put a feast, a banquet feast for them and told them how much that they were loved. So for many of them, it was the first time that they had ever heard the gospel and the first time that they'd ever heard that they were loved. If you've been sold into that kind of trade, mainly by your parents or, by people in your village that think that you should go raise money for the rest of the family, you probably don't feel like you have much worth or value. But Jesus values every soul, and he wants us to value every soul. He wants us to value every child. He wants us to do something about this issue. Through that one banquet, we had 120 girls that came out of the bars, the brothels, and came to that feast and heard about the love of Jesus. Over 80% of them gave their lives to Jesus that night. And that night, many of them never returned to their jobs at the brothels again. And to this day are serving Jesus Christ in their communities, in their nations, and are proclaiming his goodness. We can do something about it. I want to encourage you to pray about it because it's probably going on right in your own community, maybe even in your own neighborhood. And there are things that we can do. We can pray. We can go and get mobilized. We can be a voice for those that have no voice to be able to cry out for themselves. Or we can give into ministries that are doing something about it. But if we would gather together and unite our hearts together and say, God, as long as it's on our watch, we're not going to let this happen. We will do something about it. And that's what the church is called for. We're to take our light and let it shine in the darkness. We are to go set the captives free. We are anointed with the sovereign Spirit of the Lord to set captives free and to let the prisoners run into their freedom, into their liberty. This is what you are mandated to do. This is what I am anointed to do. And together in Jesus, we will make a great team to set the captives free and to annihilate this atrocious slavery situation in this day. We will go down in history as annihilating this if we will band together and trust Him. I just want to encourage you to do your part, whatever the Lord prompts you to do. Even if you say a prayer, your prayer could save a child today. Your prayer could bring someone out of the darkness today. Do not underestimate the power of prayer. But if you want more information on how you can serve, how you can help, how you can support, go to xpmissions.com, xpmissions.com, and we can help you get mobilized. We can help you serve this awesome opportunity to set captives free.